sound of wind and distant sheep bleating then fades slightly to the background. Ever felt like you were just going through the motions? Like your life was on a loop, the same old routine day in, day out? You get up, you do your job, you go to bed. You're not unhappy necessarily, but you're just there, stuck in the wilderness of your own life. That was Moses for 40 years. 40 years of wandering the desert, tending his father-in-law's sheep. This wasn't the Moses we think of from the epic movies, the Prince of Egypt who grew up in Pharaoh's palace. This was a man on the run, a man who had traded a crown for a shepherd's staff, a palace for the vast empty desert of Midian. His past was a distant memory, his future, well, it looked a lot like his present. More sheep, more sand, more sun. Then one day something different happened, something impossible. He was leading his flock near Mount Horeb, the mountain of God, and he saw it. A bush. Not just any bush, but a bush that was on fire. Now, a burning bush in the desert isn't that strange. Dry heat, a spark of lightning, and it happens, but this bush, it was burning, but it wasn't burning up. The flames licked at the leaves and branches, but not a single one was blackened or turned to ash. It was engulfed in fire, but completely unharmed. Imagine seeing that. Your brain would just short-circuit. Moses, shepherd fugitive, a man who knew the desert like the back of his hand, had never seen anything like this. Curiosity got the better of him. He thought, I have to go see this strange sight. Why isn't this bush burning up? He took a step closer, then another. And that's when everything changed. A low, resonant sound like a soft hum as he approached. A voice called out from the heart of the fire. Moses, Moses, he froze! This wasn't the wind. This wasn't his imagination. It was a voice, and it knew his name. Trembling, he answered, Here I am. The voice said, Do not come any closer. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Can you imagine the awe, the terror, the sheer mind-bending reality of that moment? The ground he'd walked 1,000 times, suddenly sacred. The voice continued, identifying itself. I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. At this, Moses hid his face. He was afraid to look at God. This wasn't just some desert spirit. This was the God of his ancestors, the God he'd only heard about in whispered stories from his childhood. And this God wasn't silent anymore. God told him, I have seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard their cries. I know their suffering. And I have come down to rescue them. God had a plan to bring the Israelites out of slavery and into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey. And then came the part that must have made Moses' heart stop. God said, So now go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. Wait, what? Go where? Do what? Send who? Moses must have thought. Me? This was the same Moses who had fled Egypt in fear for his life after killing an Egyptian. He was a wanted man, a shepherd, a nobody, and his reaction is so incredibly human. It's probably exactly what you or I would say. Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? It's a question dripping with self-doubt. You've got the wrong guy. I'm not a leader. I'm not a hero. I'm just a shepherd. But God's response wasn't to list Moses' qualifications. He didn't say, You're brave, you're strong, you're a great speaker. No. God's response was a simple, powerful promise, I will be with you. That's the pivot point of the entire story. It was never about who Moses was. It was always about who was with him. The God who can make a bush burn without being consumed, the God who remembers his promises for generations, the God of the universe, was going to be with him. This moment at the burning bush wasn't just a calling for Moses. It's a reminder for all of us. Sometimes we feel like we're just wandering in our own deserts, living a small, insignificant story. But you never know when an ordinary day might be interrupted by a burning bush, a moment that calls you out of your routine and into a purpose you never imagined. And when that call comes and you feel that wave of doubt that who am I, Rebra? Remember the promise. It's not about your ability. It's about his presence. I will be with you. And that changes everything.